Hey guys, welcome back once again to Kat Lockler's instructional video. This is step number 2 of brand new homeschooling preparation. What to do. It's your first time homeschooling. I'm going to give you a little bit of information of what I do to prepare. This again is not just for a kindergartner. I do have another video about how to homeschool a kindergartner. Much more, is a lot different. A lot more different? Gosh, I'm the teacher. I can't even speak right. It's different than what I'm showing you today. So if you're curious and you only have a kindergartner at home, then I would recommend you go and find my video on how to homeschool a kindergartner. It's on my YouTube page, so which will be linked below. So if you were there for my very first video, I talked to you about calendar. Calendar is super important. I just got this calendar because this is going to be my homeschool and my school calendar. But you go ahead and you start marking the weeks. And I put them on the Sunday slot. And we start in September. So week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and on and on. So the next page, I'll kind of show you what we're doing. Homeschool week 1, okay? And this just starts to lay out your day. This is giving me kind of groundwork of what things need to be done in a day, and then I will have an actual timed out schedule in the classroom on the wall. But this kind of helps me be able to have a mental checklist on things that need to be done within the day and doesn't give me the limitation of time. So again, homeschool week 1, we have Bible is always the first thing. We do our pledges, prayer time, and we read some of the Bible and work on our memory verse. It says math marked. Okay, so I want to go over this really quick. As you can see, these are what we will be studying this year. Our American heritage. So we're going to do mostly American history this year. We did ancient world history last year, and it was a lot of fun, but I really want to focus on American history. So these are all used books. These are Rebecca books. A dear friend kind of gave me a ton of curriculum, and so we are set. But I'm all about using used books, okay, because especially with history, not a lot of stuff is going to change in them. You get the basics of what they need to learn, and you can always look up more on the internet if you need to go into deeper topics. So we've got our American heritage and then the history of the United States. So again, this is my first grader. This is my Abigail's book. This is going to be Wyatt's 2nd grade, and then Polly's going to be 4th grade. We've got a awesome board game that I found at a thrift store, American Trivia, and it was for $1.99. Guys, don't knock that thrift store stuff. You can find some incredible tools to homeschool with at thrift stores. So I am a thrifty mom. I'm always going to homeschool on a budget. I don't go out there and get the best of the best curriculum. I try to figure out, hey, what do they need to learn and how can I teach them what they need to know, on a budget and in a fun way. And I think if you're an involved parent, this is going to be very, very easily done in your home. If you just give them something and then you have other things to do, well, you might need to invest in more of expensive stuff that they have a lot more computer interaction or something, because I don't really agree too much with here you go, teach yourself. I think they really need that dialogue between the teacher and other students or family members, or just the dialogue between the one student and the teacher to really grasp what they're trying to think through. So, okay, so let me start with arithmetic really quick. I get each of my kids' books and I break them down into 24 weeks, especially math, because I want them to get as much of this book done as possible. So the first thing I do is I find out how many pages are in this book, and I try to divide the pages by 24 weeks. And let's just say there is 20 pages per week. Well, that's all right. 20 pages per week. That means we're going to have 2 pages a day to do to get to, at the end of the week, at the 5 days, we'll get, is that right? 4 pages, excuse me. I am so tired. So 4 pages a day, and you will get to the end of the book. These are awesome. I got them at Office Depot, and what I like to do is I divide how many pages they'll have to do per week, and then I start with the very first work page, which they've already started because they wanted to get ahead of the game, but I would start with week 1 and tab it here, and then go 10 pages more, week 2, so they know I need to get to this tab. Now they've got a lot more heavy-dutier ones than this, but these have worked for us in the past and they'll still work. So each of these books, I take the total amount of pages and I divide them by 24, and whatever number I get to, I tab as each week. So if it's, again, if the answer to our division problem is 10, that means they have 10 pages they must get complete on week 1, so they're caught up. So I do that for each of their books. Sometimes she'll only have 1 page because her books are very small. He'll have 3 pages, she'll have 8 pages, who knows. But if they at least know by the beginning of the week how many they must get by the end of the week, they'll be probably more motivated at the beginning to get through these papers on time. And usually at the very end of the week, there's not as much motivation. So and it's good for them to know, hey, you got 8 pages, you can go fast or slow, but on Friday, you're going to end up being left with whatever's left over. I do that with the math, and I have gone through the American Heritage. Now, this is an old book, but yeah, you can see this has been used, loved greatly, but this is more on a biographical contents. So I've decided, okay, talk about Christopher Columbus, John Smith, Pocahontas. So I went ahead and marked which week we'll be talking about one of these characters. Now, we'll learn about a character, but I think that my kids are smart. I want to go ahead and give them the benefit of the doubt. I think they're smart, and I think that they could do more than just one character a week to learn about in history. So that's why I have this second book. I was just going to do one, and I was like, no. I'm going to do the 3rd grade and the 4th grade. And so we'll talk about one character, read about them, maybe draw their picture, maybe reenact something in the classroom, something like that. And then I'll take this curriculum, which is called the History of the United States. It's mostly quizzes and tests. I do not have the actual book for this, but it has blank tests for it. So I will look through this and see if I can get some questions to teach them and write notes about, and then we'll have a test at the end of the week. I've decided, what are we going to do with this? This is so random, an American trivia game. Well, every day I'll probably pull out a trivia card, read them a question and tell them an answer, and then put it off into a box. And at the end of the week, we'll see who can remember the questions and the answers. So that's a little fun thing to do. So we're kind of lining everything up with American history. And we got science. Polly has a different grammar workbook than Abigail and Wyatt. Wyatt and Abby are going to do a lot of Aesop's Fables and Book of Virtues this year, and they're going to break down the sentence format for those, and Polly's going to learn much more about keeping journals. And we have this other little science book that Abby's going to read, just in case the science curriculum that I've picked out might be a little over her head. This will be something that me and her will study through while the older kids are doing some writing projects. So this is what I've picked out. We have our math, we have our history, we have our science, we have our grammar. There's going to be, within the books, we're going to pick out certain words to be part of their vocabulary, a lot from the Aesop's Fable book. And from the history books, we're going to have a lot of our our vocabulary and spelling words coming from these. So you don't have to go buy spelling curriculum and vocabulary and handwriting. You can integrate them into the books that you already have, and have the kids, rewrite an Aesop's Fable and check their handwriting and take some of the words out, such as, let's see, there's a word 100. That's a good spelling word. And lion and hunters. So you can kind of just highlight a few and say, let's read a story. Oh, remember these words from the story? We're going to learn how to spell them, and then we'll have a test and see who can spell them. We'll have a spelling bee on Friday. And my kids love to get up in front of the class, even though there's no students in the classroom. They love to be able to stand up there and be asked questions, and they are the center of attention at the moment. So, all right, so this is video number 2. It kind of went really quickly, but I'm trying to do as much as I can before the baby wakes up to eat. Okay, guys, hope this is helpful. Please list any questions you have below, and hopefully there'll be another video coming up soon, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.